Hey guys, before we begin this video, we want to give a special thanks to our sponsor, the Star Wars Card Trader app, a sponsor that will allow us to pursue grander projects for the channel in the future. This is a free app that you can download through the link in the description below. This app offers the first ever Star Wars digital trading card experience, and allows us to relive all the galactic adventures of 40 years of Star Wars. And what better time to do this than the week of the 40th anniversary of this awesome franchise. The Star Wars Card Trader allows you to collect and trade over 1,000 officially licensed Star Wars digital cards of the most popular to the most obscure characters in the franchise, with new cards and series being released every day. In celebration of the 40th anniversary, the Star Wars Card Trader has released the Freedom for the Galaxy set. This set will contain special cards like this awesome one I just received as I opened up the pack. If you wish to get this app, then make sure to use the link below, as it will greatly help out the channel and allow us to expand upon bigger projects for the future. All support is greatly appreciated. In an empire so devoid of color, the vibrantly red-colored Imperial guards not only stood out in their unique appearance, but also in their perfected level of skill in combat. These guys were the best of the best that the Empire had to offer, and they were most likely the finest trained, non-force sensitive soldiers in the entire galaxy during the Empire's reign. There's a reason they were handpicked by the Emperor himself to guard His Excellency. And since we unfortunately never see them properly fight in the movies, exactly how powerful were the Imperial Royal Guards? Before we begin, we want to clarify that the Red Guards we see get knocked out by Yoda are not even near the same level of skill of the Imperial Royal Guards at the height of the Galactic Empire's reign. The Red Guards we see throughout the Clone Wars did not go through the same intense training that the Imperial Royal Guards had. Instead, they were just Senate Guards, Senate Commandos, and other trained soldiers promoted by Palpatine based on their loyalty to him. Palpatine's main reason for creating the Red Guard at this time was to surround himself with guards that were solely loyal to him above all else, so that he could attend to his alter ego as Darth Sidious and do other secret things without fear of being spied on or betrayed by one of the Senate Guards who would have protected him otherwise. Just to put things in perspective, a single Imperial Royal Guard would probably have been able to take out 4 Red Guards with relative ease, as the Red Guards were picked mainly for their loyalty, while the Imperial Guards were picked both for their loyalty and for their extensive training. Said extensive training for the Imperial Royal Guards took place on the harsh, war-torn planet of Yin Kor. The trainees who attended this academy were chosen from being the strongest, most intelligent, and gifted soldiers from all across the Imperial military. An initial class consisted of about 40 to 50 students, but only about 1 or 2 of them would eventually graduate from the academy to become Royal Guards. They were mainly trained in Ishani art, which was an unarmed combat style which essentially turned the practitioner's body into a weapon. Their reflexes were sharpened to perfection, to the point where they could even sometimes deflect a blaster bolt in the heat of battle with just their melee weapons. Much of their fighting took place amongst themselves, with the loser of each fight facing the possibility of death. Once they reached a certain point in their training, they would be greeted by Emperor Palpatine, who even himself showed the soon-to-be guards the utmost respect, treating them as if they were his own children. But then again, it wouldn't be wise to make the people who would eventually be tasked in protecting you dislike you, so that could be why he was so respectful towards them. Anyway, along with inspecting the remaining students of the academy, Palpatine then had Darth Vader arrive and duel with the best students in the group. Those who dueled Vader were almost certainly doomed to lose, but beating Vader wasn't the point. It was more of a learning experience for the other students, as they watched their best mate get essentially murdered in front of them, as Vader toyed with his opponent before ending his life by kicking him down into the abyss below. The purpose of this demonstration was to show them that what they believed to be the best wasn't even good enough, and in a sinister sort of way, to encourage them to train harder. That if they were going to protect the Emperor, then they would have to be almost unnatural in their level of skill in combat. It was also probably done to perhaps show them that even if they were considered the best the Empire had to offer, that they still were vulnerable to death for their failures. Many months later, and the very few remaining students were on course to graduating, and only had one final test to accomplish. A final test that would be overseen by the Emperor himself, within his chamber. 2 students would enter the chamber at a time, and kneel before the Emperor as he was surrounded by the Royal Guards and Vader. After they were praised for their remarkable successes, they were then presented with their final test, to fight each other to the death, and the winner would become a Royal Guard. Now the main purpose of this test was to test the students' loyalty, as they would be fighting someone who they had trained with and been friends with for months, if not years. But their ambitions for becoming a guard overcame their long friendships, and they quickly fought as they were ordered, with eventually a victor emerging. After being congratulated by the Emperor, the newly confirmed member of the Royal Guard would be reminded by Vader that he shouldn't ever be sorry for his actions, nor should he ever regret a direct order given by his master. And if the new guard showed signs of possible defiance, Vader would hurt them and put them in their place, reminding them that they were no match for the power of the dark side that both Vader and the Emperor possessed. Anyway, these guards have demonstrated their level of skill from time to time again throughout the comics. For example, they were able to hold off an entire private army of clone stormtroopers, which were secretly created by a traitorous Imperial who tried to overthrow the Emperor. They did this with minimal casualties, fending them off long enough for Palpatine to kill the rest of them with his Force lightning. Another case was when a single Imperial Royal Guard literally turned the tide of an entire battle, as he fought against stormtroopers who were being commanded by a traitorous Imperial warlord who sought the Imperial throne after contributing to Palpatine's death. This single Royal Guard cut down scores of stormtroopers with his vibroblade, with even deflecting a blaster bolt at one point. He eventually took out his heavy blaster pistol and started to dual-wield his weapons, cutting down troopers with his vibroblade and shooting them at a distance with his blaster. Nearing the end of the battle, he even took out a TIE interceptor by shooting the pilot through the glass and causing the starfighter to crash downwards onto the other stormtroopers. This single guard caused the traitorous Imperials to retreat, with the commander almost having a nervous breakdown when he was notified that an Imperial Royal Guard was fighting alongside his enemy. So on top of their training, these guards were outfitted with some of the best armor the Empire had to offer. The armor provided far better protection than that of the typical stormtrooper armor, but it was also designed to be very flexible and allowed for great movement. They were armed with force spikes that could be used to stun or kill enemies, or in some cases even torture their victims if needed. They were also equipped with a heavy blaster pistol if they were required to eliminate longer-ranged enemies. The armor and the blaster were hidden beneath the guards' long robes, giving a deceptive appearance that they were only armed with force pikes. Along with their physical combat training, the guards were also experts at dogfighting in space, being given their own special red-colored TIE interceptors whenever they escorted the Emperor's shuttle. They were taught a secret language to use amongst each other during battle, as means to keep their tactics secret from the enemy, and they were more than willing to die to give up any information or betray their Emperor. Actually, when the death of Emperor Palpatine was confirmed, a huge portion of the Royal Guard committed suicide as they had felt they failed in protecting him. Those who did not commit suicide either joined Imperial warlords or sought to avenge the death of the Emperor by fighting the rebels or Imperials who betrayed the Emperor and sought the Imperial throne for themselves. Along with guarding, they were also used for assassination missions, and in some cases, they wore special red-colored stormtrooper armor during these special missions. Royal Guards who were exceptionally skilled in their training and were discovered to be force-sensitive were allowed to join an even more elite organization called the Imperial Sovereign Protectors, or the Imperial Shadow Guards. Within either of these subset organizations, the guards were trained in the dark side of the Force and were either equipped with a double-ended vibroblade or a red lightsaber pike. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. And as always, may the Force be with you.